Welcome to PGTV News. Here are our top stories. Polk County school guardians are sworn in. Find out how many made the grade and when they must report for work.
Fire in an assisted living high-rise. Find out how a Polk County business stepped up and helped displaced residents.
Hello and welcome to PGTV News. I'm Stephen Barnes.
And I am Tina Mann. Thank you for tuning in. Our report begins in Lakeland, where 87 men and women recently were sworn in as school guardians. Andrew Polk, father of slain Marjorie Stoneman Douglas High School senior Meadow Polk, attended the ceremony. Families and friends of the graduates were on hand for the swearing-in by Sheriff Grady Judd and Polk County Superintendent Jacqueline Bird. The guardians will report to their appointed schools on August 13th. Sherry McCullough of PGTV News had a chance to talk with Hazel Sellers, of Polk County School Board member. Here they are discussing the topic of school guardians.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen. We are joined by Miss Hazel Sellers. Thank you, Hazel, for joining us. As you are aware, the first class of armed school guardians have been sworn in this week and are now ready to report to their assigned school locations. We wanted to talk with you about this program and get some insight from a school board member. So let's talk today about the importance of school safety.
Okay, well, as you know, our purpose is to educate kids, but a top priority is to provide a safe environment. There's going to be no learning if we don't provide a safe environment. Yes. And it's very important. They're our most precious resource. And for the parents, the community, and the children themselves, they have to feel safe and secure.
Absolutely. I agree.
It's top priority.
As one of the first guardian programs in the country, how important to you is it that Polk County's program become a success story?
Well, it's very important for the safety of our children, foremost. But I believe there's been a lot of thought, a lot of planning, a lot of training that has gone into this program. I believe that it can be a model for the rest of the state and the nation. So yes, there's a twofold reason why it needs to be successful.
Yes, I agree. And we have the best program leader, Sheriff Grady Judd.
Absolutely. When this program was first announced through the legislature who made the law, there was a lot of negative reaction to not wanting people armed in schools, and we got emails, we got phone calls, but it did not deter our superintendent nor our sheriff from getting together and making a plan that amazingly everybody is on board with. You see no more negative comments. People are excited about it. They trust our sheriff. He has done a superb job in explaining what rigorous training, psychological testing, academic testing that these guardians had to go through to become a school guardian.
And they're excited about being a part of this program, aren't they?
They absolutely are.
So what are the parents' views?
Well,
are they positive, negative?
They are now very positive.
Okay.
Once, again, when they heard Grady talk about what these people went through, the mission, the reason, the need for this in our schools, everybody seems to be on board.
Yeah, it's keeping our children
safe. We're hearing
safe.
positive comments now and reviews, and I think the parents feel that we've added this very important layer of safety to our schools.
Well, I appreciate that you coming in today and talking to us about this new Guardian program, and we hope to hear back some positive results of this program in the future.
I'm sure you will, and thank you for having me.
Absolutely.
I, as a parent, am so thankful for this program because I know after everything that's happened in the last year, I've been really worried about my kids going to school. So this is just an amazing thing Polk County's doing.
Well, and you know, it's nice to see because the big thing was we need protection, but how in the world are we going to do it? This is going to cost a fortune. I mean, it's still an expensive endeavor. Of course, you can't put a price tag on safety. Right. Let's just say that out front. But you know, finding creative solutions like this Guardians program is a great way to save the county some money.
Excellent.
In Haines City, Boomerang Park has been renovated. The project cost about $220,000 and included new fencing, 2 playgrounds, and updated landscaping. City officials were on hand for the rededication ceremony.
When I was a little kid, I actually used to come to this park and play and also swim. People may not know this. Some people know that my grandfather was Booker T, that lived here in this area, and I used to come and swim here all the time when I was a little kid. So this park is special to me as well, and to be able to come back as the city manager and be able to work for Haines City is a great day for me.
This was my first park when I went to school at Bethune, and so it's come a long way. I have heard the city manager say there's more to come. I'm so excited about it. My grandkids and I definitely will be coming down here. Thank you, Parks and Rec, and any other city staff that had a hand in making this. We are proud of it. We're going to do our best to take care of it. And I just want to say thank you.
I was reared in this community since birth. This park was the only park that the Northeast community had at that time. This park is not for me, it's not for the city manager, it is not for Commissioner Huffman, it is for our young kids. This is a park for tomorrow and for our future kids, our kids of tomorrow, which I would like to say thank you all for coming out and look around, look around. All I can say is wow, and thank you all. And I am honored to be your mayor for the rededication of this park today.
It's nice to see Derek Fiecher back out there and representing his own community.
That's right. And you know, we got a little look at some of the playground equipment. I thought the swing that made it look like a steer, that was great.
It's going to be a lot of fun. In Winter Haven, the county's second rabies case this year has been confirmed. On July 8th, a Winter Haven resident found a bat in his home. The resident took the bat to a rehab center where an employee was bitten by the bat. The bat was sent to the Florida Department of Health lab for testing, and the results returned positive. I had a chance to talk to Leslie McKay about what Polk County residents should do if they encounter animals such as bats or raccoons. Hello, Leslie. Thank you for joining me. We wanted to bring you in to discuss the topic of rabies and what people should and shouldn't do if they're infected. So let's start out by just answering the question, what is rabies?
Oh, very well. Rabies is an infection caused by a virus that attacks the central nervous system, causing disease in the brain. This virus is most of the times transmitted by an infected animal through a bite or somehow or some sort of saliva exposure. Not only a bite, but some animals can scratch you, especially those animals that can groom themselves or tend to groom themselves. So they could be a scratch from those animals can be a possible source of rabies infection.
Well, that I did not know. So what are the symptoms of rabies? I mean, if you're in an animal, or what would you be looking for?
Well, it's important also to know that there's certain animals that are considered a high risk of rabies. Such as raccoons, bats, foxes, coyotes, skunks, otters, and stray cats, while stray dogs, for example, are moderate risk for rabies.
If you suspect an animal, what would you do? I mean, could you call animal control to just let them know about it?
Yes, absolutely. For example, if you do see an abnormally acting animal, you can reach out to animal control. They can give you information, possibly on how to trap or what to do or what not to do. Now if this animal happens to be inside your house, animal control can actually come out and catch it for you. Make sure nobody was bitten or exposed. There are some animals, there's some concerns. For example, bats. A bat bite can be so small that you may not notice just looking at it. So if you wake up one day, there's a bat in your bedroom, and you may think, well, it didn't bite me, there's nothing to worry about. Well, actually, you should probably call animal control or the health department. We could probably pick up this bat and test it for rabies to make sure. Since we can't be sure that you were not bitten, at least we would know it doesn't have rabies.
Well, thank you so much for all that information. That's very helpful.
Well, thank you for having me here.
Have you ever encountered any animals that have had rabies or anything like that?
I have not. I have not encountered a whole lot of wild animals, and if I do, I tend to stay away from them, which is always advised.
You know, I did once. It was a muskrat. It was up in Pennsylvania. I don't even know if they have muskrats down here. You know what a muskrat is? It's like a
No.
it's like a chupacabra kind of thing. But yeah, it was daytime. He was out and he was foaming at the mouth, and
That's scary.
but you know, acted fast and called the authorities, and they came and captured him, make sure that stuff doesn't spread.
It's important.
On June 26th, there was a fire at the Lake Morton Plaza in Lakeland. What does the future hold for these residents, and where did they go? For more about this story, here is Sherry McCullough.
On June 26th, Lake Morton Plaza experienced a fire on the rooftop. Imagine being a resident or staff member at the plaza, hearing the alarm going off and knowing it's not a drill. As a staff member, evacuating the residents and keeping them safe is priority number one. We spoke with David Abner, the Executive Director of Spring Haven Retirement Community, and Helen O'Leary about how they worked together to help these residents at Lake Morton Plaza.
When I arrived, the evacuation process was already in place. There was a evacuation plan prior to the fire, where staff was involved in taking people, evacuating people from the community, as well as the assistance of the fire department.
After the residents were evacuated from Lake Morton Plaza, the big question was, where would they go? Well, Mr. Abner transported the residents to the Spring Haven Retirement Community, where he had rooms to accommodate the displaced residents. But there was another problem. There weren't any beds for the residents to sleep on. After getting cots from the Emergency Operations Center, Mr. Abner called Helen for assistance.
I phoned a friend in Helen and asked for a favor of hers. I knew she worked at Badcock's in Auburndale, and we've always worked well together in the past, and I asked her for a huge favor to see if she could locate some mattresses for the 53 residents that we took in. Within 12 to 15 hours at the most, she had everything lined up and was able to deliver those mattresses along with her team at Badcock's to our location.
So Helen and her team at Badcock made it happen. Soon there was a truckload of mattresses at the Spring Haven Retirement Community, which they delivered while maneuvering around the current Spring Haven residents who were going about their day.
It was a lot of sweat. Sweat doesn't scare us. The mileage on our feet that day, I can't tell you. The hallways are very long in Spring Haven. God bless the employees that have to walk those halls every day. Lugging those mattresses from one end of the facility to the other it was a lot of work. But at the end of the day, to see the elderly people, they were happy. They were having their raviolis for lunch, and their elevators were still going up and down as we cleaned up and moved forward.
We couldn't have done it without their help, and along with the staff at Spring Haven, which they had already been through a lot the last 3 days of taking in 53 additional residents, and as well as assisting with setting up all the beds and mattresses, because it didn't stop after the mattresses were delivered throughout the building. We then had to mattress covers and sheets and pillowcases and all of that to make sure that they had a soft place to lay their head that night, and then remove all of the cots and return those to the Emergency Management Center.
Now it is time for our sports segment, and giving us the report today is Mason Chambliss. So take it away, Mason.
Hey fans, are you getting ready for football season? Don't forget, it's college soccer season also. Here are some upcoming games you could attend. If you're interested in Florida Southern soccer, here are the dates for when their season begins. On the men's side, their season will kick off at home against Trinity Baptist. That will be on Thursday, August 30th, and kickoff is set for 8 p.m. The Lady Mocs will kick off their season on Thursday, August 30th at 8 p.m. The Lady Mocs will be taking on Flagler College. If you're interested in Southeastern football, then get out to Lakeland to catch their home opener against University of Cumberland on August 25th. Kickoff is at 7 p.m. The men's soccer season will kick off on the road against Montreat College. That will be on August 16th, and kickoff is set for 2 p.m. The Lady Fire will also kick off their season on August 18th at 4 p.m. here in Lakeland. Thank you for your time, and now back to Steve and Tina.
Remember to tune in again next week for another installment of PGTV News. We'll see you next time.